The PW Fan is a pro wrestling podcast created by fans for the fans. And thank you for joining us. This is episode 60. I can't believe we're here, guys. 60 episodes. That's crazy. Our goal in the beginning was to get to 7, and here we are at 60. But I am your host, the grumpy old school wrestling fan, collector, barber, and musician, Talk Wrestling, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the Architect of Pro Wrestling Podcast, Funko Pop collector. Good week to be a Steelers fan, Andy.
I'm also your host, the No Sun Wrestling Indie fan and football lover, Jeremy.
All right, guys. Well, in this episode, we will be discussing the MJF promo, another good one, War Games, Full Gear Predictions, and more. Andy's going to come over to my house coming up this weekend, and we're going to watch Full Gear. I'm excited. Before we get started, please head on over to YouTube. Like always, search the PW Fan, where you can find all of our videos, all of our episodes. Help us to get to 100 subscribers so we can make an official URL. I think I misspoke last time and said that we were able to get one. Apparently, that did not work. I think that's going to be for something that they're launching later, and it's not what I thought it was. So we need help getting to that 100 subscribers to make a real URL. Don't forget, we got the merch on ProWrestlingTees.com/the PW Fan. 3 shirt designs, your 1 and 2 pocket logo tees, and our classic basic logo tee with our faces right on the front. That is my daughter's favorite shirt because she likes to see Dad and Uncle Andy on the front. And turns out, you know what? People really like that one. I didn't think that one was going to hit, but people like the basic one of the people of our faces on the front. So that's cool. All other social media, look up at the PW Fan, where we kindly ask you to like, subscribe, leave a review, all the things that help us out in the algorithm. All right, Andy, over to you. Let's get started, man. Episode 60. Let's go.
Episode 60. All right, starting off with Raw, we had a Seth Rollins segment that kind of got carried away, and he ended up not even being the big part of it. It started off with him. Judgment Day comes out, and Finn confronts Seth. Finn brings up how Seth, injured him during their SummerSlam match all those years ago and cost him the championship run that he deserved. This then gets interrupted by the OC, who comes out and basically said that they have solved their Rhea Ripley problem because she keeps getting involved in their matches and costing them the match. Out comes from the stands a figure in a black hoodie who shoves Rhea into the post, and it ends up being Mia Yim. So Mia Yim has now come back to WWE. And it looks like she's aligning herself with the OC.
Is Mia Yim Keith Lee's wife in real life?
Yes.
In Shoot Life?
Yes.
Shoot Life, brother?
In Shoot Life.
Okay, cool.
Yes. After that, we had what looks like Nikki Cross is aligning herself with Damage Control. Bianca Belair, Asuka, Alexa Bliss.
Alexa Bliss. I'm Mike Tyson.
Say
that to his face.
They attack. Yeah. Just give me a kiss.
Kith.
Now kiss. They attack and challenge Damage Control and Nikki Cross to War Games. Now, right now, this would be 4-on-3. They said.
Did they challenge him to War Games, or did they challenge him to War Games?
The latter. But right now it's 3-on-4. They had announced before that these War Games matches are going to be 5-on-5. So I don't know on the heel side who would join Damage Control and Nikki Cross. I'm sure on the babyface side we get at least Candice LeRae. Other than that, I don't know. You guys got any thoughts? Because it'd be Raw only, so if you can think of Raw women's roster.
Yeah, I was trying to think of who else they have, but I couldn't really think of other than Candice LeRae. But yeah, like you said, it should be on the face side. So maybe it's a surprise.
I guess they could have Ripley to one and then Mia Yim to the other, but I don't know how those stories tie in.
Yeah, because unless they're part of like the actual match for Judgment Day in OC.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like we got our first setup for Survivor Series War Games, which after watching Raw tonight, they're saying it's only 2 weeks away, which they better start making some matches that quickly. After that, we had a Miz and Johnny Gargano segment where the Miz tried to say that everything Johnny Gargano said about paying Dexter Lumis was false. Johnny Gargano comes out and says that he had a hidden camera when the Miz met with someone in Hollywood, a reporter, and it was filmed, and Miz basically told the truth to her and this hidden camera and microphone. So Johnny Gargano...
Dude, what is this story?
I don't know. I don't know where it's going.
It's terrible.
But it ended up leading to a match between the two. But I don't know. I don't know if it's now a feud between Miz and Johnny, or if it's where Dexter now falls into. I don't know. Poor Johnny. That's all I have to say. We had Dana Brooke versus Nikki Cross for the 24/7 title. Winner and new 24/7 champion was Nikki Cross, who was then shown backstage tossing it in the garbage can. I read online that, or I read off Ringside News shortly afterwards, that they are getting rid of the 24/7 title. Thank God.
Done.
If you like that, I'm sorry for you, but I think
Who like that?
I think
Other than,
everyone
like,
in
the
this
first week or
podcast, we all can agree the 24/7 title sucks.
Yeah. It was fun for a minute. That was it.
Tim, are you gonna miss it?
Not at all. I thought it was honestly one of the worst things that happened to the show. It was botched from the introduction when Mick Foley had the bag falling off of the title, and you could all see it before he even unveiled the thing.
Yeah.
Thing's been snake bit from the beginning. I get that people thought it was funny for a while, and it had like the comedy value. I just didn't like it, and I hated some of the people that got involved in it. At one point, Jeff Hardy was doing stuff with it. It's just like, oh, terrible. If you go back, too, I'm just being honest, and I've been on a kick, and we'll talk about this at the Classic Show of the Week. Right now, I'm actually not watching Raw live. I've been watching every Royal Rumble of all time in order, and so that's what I have on in the background. And from the start of the whole pay-per-view, not just the Rumbles themselves. But, yeah, like, if you go back in time and watch some of the old stuff, like, as far as, like, the hardcore title, you know, it was the same thing as the 24/7 championship. You could pin anywhere, anytime. But that was stupid, too. It's not good. Like, if you go back and watch it, it doesn't hold up. It's bad.
I think at the time bringing the hardcore element was like fresh and new, but I think it also lost its like excitement eventually. Like first month probably cool, and then it was like, all right.
Now when
it would change hands like 10 times in a night. It was like, oh God, come on.
and I'm not discrediting the people that took the headshots from these things, because I'm sure in the long run it didn't do any favors for them, but when you go back and like look at like those big silver trash cans that they used to use, and like the trash can lids, and like stuff is so stupid. Like it doesn't even look like it does anything. And you know what? If it does, I'm sorry. You know, I don't mean to be like, you know, disrespectful, but like it just looks so like goofy if you go back, it's like, what are these trash cans? They're like
it looked like it was crumpled aluminum foil.
Yeah,
like the thinnest metal.
You know, like, some of that stuff is just like, I'm glad they don't do it anymore, is what I'm getting at. Long story short. Anyway, I know that was a tangent from the 24/7 title, but it literally is the same thing. That was, you could pin anytime, anywhere.
Well, I'd like to hear your opinion on this final part of Raw, because I know you listen to Corny, and Corny loves Theory, so... Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title. In the middle of the match, Austin Theory comes out to cash in the Money in the Bank and fails his cash-in. If this doesn't tell you that the Vince regime is done, I don't know what does. But
you know, clearly, whoever I think I think that Triple H that's not the direction that he wants to go with guys like Austin Theory. And, if that means like, if someone's listening and saying, what, guys who can work and look good and sell, but I think that he has other people that, whether it's fair or not, he has other people in mind that he would rather do stuff with first. And no, it sucks for
have Austin
Theory,
Theory
but
cash out Roman Reigns and win?
No, exactly. But here's the thing: the other thing about Theory is, it's not. It sucks because it's like he was Vince's guy and he was getting a big push, but like that doesn't obligate, Triple H to be like, you have to be my guy too. It's not fair. It just is what it is. But, I do feel bad
that's
for
the
him.
balance of, like, whenever someone else takes over. Like Triple H has his guys. Same
I mean,
as
and that's
in
not
AEW,
just-
Tony Khan
that's-
has his guys and everyone else.
That's not just wrestling, That's sometimes a guy will tell you that you're going to get a promotion, and then that guy leaves and you get a new boss, and you're like, hey, am I still going to get that promotion? And he's like, probably not. And it's like, that's just how the world works sometimes. It's not fair. It just
Theory
is
was
what
in
it is.
NXT, and he might be Triple H's boy, but he's not like, he's probably just like, I don't think you're that guy yet,
Right.
kind of thing. Who knows? We're not Triple H. I thought he should have cashed. He teased the other week of cashing it in at NXT. He had come out.
That would have been good.
Yeah, I think he should have.
Well, at least he could have won that.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, Braun Breaker. But that wraps up Raw for this week. Let's get into Dynamite, starting with this fantastic MJF Barstool Sports radio promo he did. Dude can't cut a bad promo. I can't tell you the last time he ever did, if ever.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Anyone want to take over of what he talked about? Basically, I know it was like a lot, but
I don't know. The bit that I remember is like basically him saying it's his time now, and he's not going to be overshadowed. And he kind of mentioned Cody because he's like the neck tattoo, and then he even mentioned Punk about he's like the what do you call it, the media scrum. I think he referenced.
oh well, okay, yes. So let me try to remember. He started off by mentioning some of the greatest champions that changed the way the business was going moving forward, such as Cena. He mentioned was one of the. I mean, he mentioned a bunch of WWE guys. Let's just say that right there. And then the part you were talking about is he was talking about certain moments in AEW history that the focus should have been on him, but instead it was on other things, such as Blood and Guts Steel Cage, when they were just really talking. Even though he won, they were talking about Jericho's fall through the mat.
Crash pad.
The crash pad. He mentioned his return to the company at All Out, but instead everyone was talking about the press conference afterwards. Trying to think, there was like at least one more.
The first one he said he was overshadowed by a neck tattoo, which is Cody.
His match against Cody Rhodes, yeah, and he was overshadowed by Cody's neck tattoo. The roller coaster, yeah. It was a really good promo, man. They've done a really good job at getting me excited for a match against Jon Moxley. Whether you like Moxley or not, I don't know, but I'm a big MJF fan. I think we all are, and I'm looking forward to the main event at All Out this year, or not All Out, Full Gear.
Yeah, I mean, and then also like the way they shot this, like the way they shot this looked very high quality and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I'm
were you gonna
excited
say,
for
Tim?
it as well. Oh, no, I said I'm excited for it as well. It'll be fun to watch it with you.
So Dynamite now has a world title eliminator tournament they just started. And I believe it started this week. It looks like we got our first match, which was Eddie Kingston versus Ethan Page. And winner of this match was Ethan Page. So
there's no brackets or anything for this, so it's kind of just like
so
you just
that's
keep
why
bouncing.
I kind of paused. I was trying to think of who else was in the tournament and all, but it just seems like they're going by the just winging it is what it seems like. I know it's not what they're doing,
but
but
it's weird because it's the eliminator, so I guess you just keep going if you win, but then it's like one of those things well then last match the guy could just win and then be at the next in line. I don't know.
Yeah, the winner is gonna have a match at what? Winter is Coming. It's not gonna be at a paper.
Probably it's the next one.
Yeah. We had Wardlow. He had a match against Lee Johnson, I believe, and he ended up winning.
2 minutes.
Yeah, he ended up winning the match. Afterwards, Hobbs comes out and he's walking down the ramp, and all of a sudden, Samoa Joe attacks from behind, and there is no more War Joe anymore. Which I was like, oh shit! I mean, I thought this would eventually happen. I didn't think it was going to be a betrayal. I thought they would just split him up eventually, but Joe, Hobbs, and Wardlow in a match together, if that's the direction they're going, I can get down with that. And there are 3 big guys that don't act like big guys.
Yeah, they can move too.
Speaking of big guys, I think it was on the show. I didn't write down on my notes. Jeff Jarrett cut a promo. Talking about Satnam Singh and then basically trashing WWE. First off, enough with bringing up the other company on your live broadcast.
Yeah, okay. The way Jeff Jarrett did it, I'm like, this is how they did it the first month they're on TV for AEW, and I'm like, everyone's kind of over it now.
So he said Satnam Singh's a real monster, not some guy in red skinny jeans talking about Braun Strowman. And then he said, from that banana nose company over there, talking about Triple H. I guess he's mad that once Triple H took over, Triple H got rid of Jeff Jarrett and brought his guys on. I guess he's not too happy.
Wasn't too happy about that.
It just makes you look bad. It makes you seem like a bitter company if you're bringing that up on.
Yeah, but TV. Then also the way that promo ended, where he's the staff guy, production guy, was saying wrap it up.
Oh, he's like, don't count me down.
Jarrett, yeah, he's like, don't wind me up. I'm like, what is happening right now?
And then the guy ran away, and Jeff Jarrett chases him down the ramp.
He doesn't get him.
I hate that. I don't like that. That's some WCW 2000 stuff right there. That sucks.
Well, guess who was in WCW 2000?
I know. Some of it. AEW sometimes, besides MJF, there's barely any FTR. There's no CM Punk. I'm just like, what are we doing here? But at least we got MJF.
Well, there was a good thing besides the MJF promo on this show, and that was the Saraya and Britt Baker face-to-face. I thought was very good. If you weren't excited for their match before, this should have done it. Saraya announced to the crowd that she is 100% cleared. She had a back and forth with Britt Baker, basically saying that Britt Baker hasn't done anything, which is also bad to say because you're basically saying that your company isn't shit that you're in right now. She said that she's wrestled in the Tokyo Dome. Saraya's never wrestled in the Tokyo Dome. I tried to Google online. You can't find anything.
I don't think she is.
She's never wrestled in the Tokyo Dome, as far as I can find.
She's from England.
Yeah.
She came from England to WWE, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it was the best promo she's cut since she's been here. It was very passionate with a lot of realism in it. Britt Baker was good as well. She tried to talk shit, but then Saraya, her comeback is what kind of sold everything. And then I was about to say Paige. Saraya ended up giving Britt Baker her finisher, which is it the same one from WWE?
I thought it was different. I couldn't remember what her finisher was exactly, but this one looked different.
Okay. So yeah, I'm excited. It made me, I was hoping that they were going to have a match, and they made this official at Full Gear.
Yeah.
So now I'm excited for it. Any thoughts on it, guys?
Yeah. I'm hoping it's good. Hoping hopefully she gets rid of that ring rust before she's back on Full Gear. So, I mean, Britt Baker can make a lot of people look good too.
Mhm.
So I feel like it's something really good.
How about you, Tim?
Yeah, I think the dream scenario, but I think the best scenario was she comes in, she does a great job. That's what I'm hoping. Hoping that it's one of those things that, her first match back, she looks good, and it's what everybody is expecting in their head. So I wish her luck.
Yeah, I think she has a rule I read online that doing stuff from behind to her that you can't control. Like a drop.
I mean, that makes sense.
Drop kick.
I think
she's not comfortable with that stuff.
I think after Stone Cold got hurt by Owen Hart, he had the same rule basically. He would
don't put
me
upside down on my head.
Yeah, no one's. I don't think anybody was allowed to put him upside down except for Undertaker.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
yeah, they both almost broke their necks, or did.
Yeah.
So.
We then had a promo from Jon Moxley in the ring, who it was basically in response to MJF's promo earlier. One of the big things he talked about was Moxley said he's seen the devil, and he said, "Kid, you are not it." And was it MJF that said that the way they got there was similar? As in him and Mox, they were comparing each other, and they said they were similar in some way. Yeah. But I couldn't remember if it was MJF that was said it about Moxley, or if Moxley said it about MJF. But either way,
yeah, I think it was MJF. Yeah,
either way,
then Moxley was basically like, "You're not gonna do anything."
Yeah. So nice little promo to get everyone excited for the pay-per-view this coming week. I am curious of how they'll go home. On Wednesday, but we'll talk about it next podcast before we start talking about the pay-per-view. Lastly, our main event of Dynamite was Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Was this a title eliminator tournament as well, or no?
No.
Okay, this was just a 2 out of 3 falls.
Just the match.
Bryan Danielson was the winner, and I thought this match was pretty good. This was what, their third time wrestling now in a month.
I think it was second time, but third time if you count the tag matches, I guess.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it was
I'm pretty much down to watch these guys wrestle whenever, Well,
speaking of Sammy Guevara, you guys want to talk about that Dubai?
Oh boy, no.
He went to a boxing match in Dubai, and the interviewer
no one knew who he was.
It was like a live mic.
He was like, "You guys want to see me get in the ring and box?" And it was like dead
silence.
He's like, "Why don't you ask him again?" He's like, then he had to make fun of them.
Yeah.
And then it was like, boo. It was basically like, "Who the fuck are you?" And why?
He was like, "You idiots in Dubai want to see me box?" I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, dude. I don't know. I don't know what the crossover between boxing and wrestling fans are, but I feel like it's not much.
And it's probably way less.
And you're not WWE. I'm sorry, but WWE has a much bigger reach worldwide than AEW. So
yeah, that was just funny.
Well, that wraps up Dynamite. Let's get into SmackDown. We had a very good opener, which we've seen a million times before, but it never gets old. The Usos versus the New Day.
I know.
I think it was supposed to be for the titles, and if New Day won, they break the reign of the Usos, but now Usos have surpassed the New Day's reign because the Usos ended up winning. But this match was great, like all the other times when they would put these two teams on the kickoff show. It would steal the entire. It'd be the best match on the card. Their chemistry is ridiculous.
Yeah. They can make a great match every single time. I don't understand how it's possible. We've seen it 20 times, and I still can't get over it.
Yeah, two great teams going at it.
Yeah.
So SmackDown started what's called the SmackDown World Cup, and they kicked it off this week. I believe the winner of this World Cup will get a Intercontinental title shot. That's the way they're going about it.
I mean, that makes sense.
So our first match for it was Shinsuke Nakamura, which I spelled wrong in my notes. Put an E at the end. Versus Santos Escobar of Legado del Fantasma. Your winner was Santos Escobar, so he'll be moving on in the tournament. This is another one I don't think I saw a bracket for. Both shows are doing some kind of tournament.
I think maybe this week they're putting on a bracket, but I didn't see one for this one.
Well, this coming Friday, I saw online Ricochet posted. We're gonna have Mustafa Ali versus Ricochet. That could be a fun little match.
That's me, yeah.
Then we had a backstage segment with LA Knight, who was his interview was interrupted by Bray Wyatt. Images flashing on the screen, and then he attempted to talk a little shit.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt comes walking up and they have a little back and forth that ends with Bray Wyatt giving LA Knight a headbutt. This is the most physical we've seen Bray Wyatt get since his return. I'm really hoping for something at Survivor Series, but
what do you think about, like, is that his first feud then?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a feud or that was just a Bray Wyatt segment, you know. Yeah. LA Knight's been winning, so I don't know if they would want to.
Yeah, because I figured, like, you want LA Knight to be built up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But yeah, no, it was cool to see. I forget what they talked about, but because they've never worked together. I don't think so, at least. But,
no.
After that, we had a women's six-pack challenge to determine the next challenger for Ronda Rousey's SmackDown Women's Championship. It was Liv Morgan versus Raquel Rodriguez, Xylee, Shotzi, Sonya Deville, and Lacey Evans. Our winner and new number one contender was Shotzi. So I would assume the match is going to be at Survivor Series. You know, since Bianca is in War Games match, I guess they're not doing title versus title. Like how they... like Raw champion versus SmackDown champion, how they do like every year.
Right.
Then we had a second SmackDown World Cup match: Braun Strowman versus Jinder Mahal.
Jinder.
Yeah, don't hinder him.
Jinder
said alive. No man can beat him. Well, out comes a monster, and it's Braun Strowman.
I like when a guy says no man can beat me when he's been beaten like a million times. No man can beat me. I'm like, okay.
He said modern day Maharaja's back. Well, modern day Maharaja got fucking stomped.
You love the modern day Maharaja. It's the modern day Maharaja. Get it correct.
Braun Strowman is in this World Cup tournament. I don't know how he doesn't win it and goes and faces Gunther, but
yeah,
I guess we'll see.
He has to beat. I don't know. Well, I don't know who else is in it, but he's gonna have to beat a bunch of small, flippy guys.
The Viking Raiders returned and they attacked Hit Row and God, who was the other team? What's another team out there that would have wrestled Hit Row? It might have been it was Legado del Fantasma. It was the other two guys with Santos Escobar, I believe.
Yeah, you're right.
Viking Raiders return, Eric and Ivar, and they brought along with them a returning Sarah Logan. Who used to be in the Riot Squad with Liv Morgan and Ruby Riot, and I believe
she fits there.
I believe she's married to Eric. Or which one's Eric? Which one's Ivar? Whichever one's the skinnier one, without the long beard and the hair, the bald one. Yeah. She's married to the bald one. So Triple H has now brought her back. There's been vignettes every week for the past couple of weeks talking about their return, and they have finally returned. Let's get into the closeout of SmackDown this week, which was, of course, the Bloodline. You got to have them on the show doing something at least once a week, even though the Usos did open it with the New Day. They come out. They basically Roman Reigns, hypes up his cousin, saying it's hard to be the cousins of the Tribal Chief, but they are now the longest reigning tag team champions in SmackDown history, and out come the Brawling Brutes along with Sheamus, and eventually Drew McIntyre comes out too. This is 4 against 5 technically. It hasn't been announced, but does this set up War Games? Bloodline against, we need one more member.
I mean, who else would it be?
I thought they'd add Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens hurt his MCL at a live event, so he's sprained.
Yeah. I don't know who else, because it feels like it's like a Europe versus America thing right now. Like the Brawling Brutes and then Drew McIntyre and who was it?
And Sheamus, yeah. Braun Brute, Sheamus.
And Sheamus, yeah.
Drew McIntyre. Yeah, who else could you bring in? I don't know.
I have no idea.
But it seems like it's setting up War Games. I mean, they got 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Why else
And
would
also
you
they
have everyone
brawled.
attack at the end?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Unless they brought over Finn Balor, but Finn Balor is,
Yeah,
has
doesn't really
his own
fit
thing
right now.
going on right now. The Judgment Day. Just throwing Rey Mysterio in there.
Yeah, that works.
That wraps up SmackDown. Let's talk a little bit. Do you guys want to add anything from what you all watched this week? I know I just kind of go. Tim, anything?
I mean, I really watched a lot of old wrestling this week, so I don't have anything to really add for anything. Jeremy, did you see anything new? Anything on the indies? Anything that we should? Any viral?
Yes, we should.
Wrestling video.
Tyrus is the new NWA champion. Brodus Clay, the Funkasaurus, fucking beat Matt Cardona, Trevor Murdoch, and it might have just been a triple threat. That might have been it. But they bring him in because they got rid of Nick Aldis because Nick Aldis was leaving, and then I think he ended up just getting fired. I think he talked a lot of shit from what I read. And instead of putting it on someone like Trevor Murdoch, who I believe was the champion before Nick Aldis,
Yeah, he made sense.
or Matt Cardona, you bring in Brodus Clay? You bring in Tyrus? Funkasaurus?
I mean, I can't even see him as a scary monster guy anymore because of that.
So, here's okay.
Tim, they did
Let me
your boy
explain.
Matt Cardona bad.
Let me explain what's going on here. All right, some people might not be aware, especially if you're, Actually, I won't even go there. But Brodus Clay is a analyst on Fox News a lot of the time.
Yep.
And he has he has a gigantic fan base, and that's the only thing that
they did that
makes
shit.
sense. But my thing is just like,
I forgot about that.
I'm like, all right, but his fans. I mean, let me. Okay,
You're gonna be showing up to Fox News with that belt on his shoulder.
Let me. Okay, but let me explain. But he does though. He will. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, he's going to be on there with the belt. And the other thing is, like, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers have the Major Pod, and they did this line of figures, and they still have them. It's Major Bendies. And so they have a bunch of people, and they did one of Tyrus. And he's the number one selling figure that they've ever put out over Ric Flair. So...
What,
Yeah.
NWA puts out figures?
No.
Is that what you said?
No, that's not what I said at all.
Sorry, I was looking at something else for the pod.
No, Major Pod has a line of figures, and they put out figures all the time of different people, and he's their number one selling figure out of everybody.
Why is that? Why is he their number one? Who's buying Tyrus?
His fans. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
All those conservative people watching him?
I've never
Like, I
heard
love-
anyone talk about him.
I know.
Dude, they
You don't
love
see
him.
bring Tyrus, hire Tyrus, bring Tyrus in signs in the audience.
Yeah.
I don't know if his fans translate into wrestling fans, but he has fans.
Look, guys, I got the guy. There's a figure of the guy from Fox News. Like, Dad walks in and is like, "You got the Fox News guys an action figure?" Yeah, Dad.
That's awesome.
He's got the belt now, too.
Stupid. Well, anything else you guys can think of on the indies? I'm not thinking of. That was like my big thing that I saw. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. No, I didn't see anything else, but...
Ay.
Wow.
All right, well, let's get into
Did not know that.
Rampage. Two little things to talk about.
Do we have
Really
to get
one
in the
thing.
Rampage?
Well, there
Actually, you
there
know
was
what? We do because nobody else does. So somebody has to find out what's going
We
on.
only
on
cover
that
like
channel.
two things up in it anyways.
Well, Christian Cage and Luchasaurus opened the show. Jungle Boy ended up coming out, and they had a back and forth. Of course, Christian Cage gave some shitty comments again about Jungle Boy's father. I forget what he said. But he basically said you didn't get your good looks from your father or something. I don't know.
Even though they look they look exactly the same.
Yeah.
It was like him and his dad had like the same face.
But the one thing I noticed about Jungle Boy that they started calling him Jack Perry a lot more. Like
Jungle
they started
Boy
just
Jack.
saying Jack.
Yeah, it's Jungle Boy Jack.
Like they should put Jungle Boy in quotes now.
Mm-hmm. But the takeaway from this is that it set up a match for Full Gear, which is going to be Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus in a steel cage match.
Probably be a really good match too.
And Christian Cage asked Jungle Boy to make sure his mom and sister were at ringside again to watch him get beat down. So
you can tell who they are. They have the same exact haircut.
yeah, they all look alike. They all get their looks from Luke Perry. And lastly, on Rampage, it was just funny before the main event when they're doing the talking backstage. Someone from the factory talks shit to Danhausen, and Danhausen goes, "I will rip your teeth from your mouth." And they have to hold him back. You're like, all right. He's all fired up. He's like, I will rip your teeth from your mouth. Which we haven't seen anything of the teeth stuff in AEW with him.
I was just gonna say that, like, yeah, because Danhausen's known for that. Like, he has teeth on his like outfit too. But
that's what he does.
See, like, I don't know if you follow him on.
He yells teeth and then dumps it in their face.
Yeah, like I don't know if you follow Danhausen on any socials, but he's been posting a lot of stuff like, I thought I left this part behind me, and it's like, you know, when he used to be like an actual like serious person, like in character,
right?
Like scary.
I don't, Tim.
Like instead of like a comedy character, he was like a serious, like he had like really serious makeup, like that looked like terrifying.
Yeah, the original
like,
version of Danhausen was like this dark, character.
It was just very evil. It wasn't very nice. It was just very evil.
Yeah, no, it was like he was like Malachi Black evil.
Did he talk the same though? You know, swear.
I don't
Did
think
he
so.
swear?
I don't think so.
Did he
Yeah.
swear though?
Yeah.
I think that one swears.
Imagine just came out and started to swear.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Hausen. Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps up Rampage because didn't find
'Cause that was
anything
it.
worth talking about. I wanted to end the show though, besides Tim's segment that he usually ends with. I wanted to end it with Full Gear predictions, starting with 3 matches that haven't been announced but could be a possibility. They teased one this week, which was Hook versus Lee Moriarty for the FTW Championship. Who would you see winning this match if it happened?
I mean, Hook, right?
Hook.
Definitely
For
Hook.
me, at least.
100%.
After what went down on Dynamite, it hasn't been announced, but it could happen. Wardlow versus Samoa Joe versus Powerhouse Hobbs for the TNT Championship. Where does this go? Now,
That'd be
Samoa
actually a
Joe's
pretty good
already ROH television champion, so...
Yeah, I don't think he would win it, but I feel like Hobbs would get it.
Or does Samoa Joe win, and they combine the 2 titles that are for TV into just one AEW television title? You got the
Good
ROH
idea,
TV
they
title,
would not do that.
and then you have the TNT. Booker Andy. But who would you see
Booker-
winning this triple
Booker
threat
Andy.
if it happened?
I would go with Hobbs.
I was going to go with Hobbs too.
Hobbs. That's my man. I always pick Hobbs. When Hobbs is in the match, unless it was against CM Punk, I'm picking Hobbs.
And then finally, though it hasn't been announced, but it seems like the Elite are going to come back at Full Gear. Could there be like a impromptu match of Death Triangle versus the Elite for the Trios Tag Team belts?
That'd be pretty. I mean, it feels like they were teasing it with that, especially that last promo
Mhm.
where they had the gears in it. So
Yeah.
made it kind of obvious.
If that
but
happens, I'm
I feel
going
like-
Elite. Just put
Yeah,
it
I was gonna say the Elite because why would they return?
And you, Tim, I'm sure you're in the same way.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on that.
The Elite beat Death Triangle. Okay, so for announced matches, Darby Allin and Sting versus Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. Who you guys got?
Darby and Sting.
Tim?
I don't want to see Jeff Jarrett win at all.
Actually, this one's hard to say. My gut instinct tells me Darby and Sting, but you never know. This is some classic WCW shit right here. I wouldn't be surprised if the match ends with Jeff Jarrett and everybody hitting everybody with guitars and chairs and a million people run out and the whole thing's a huge mess. So if that happens, I'm calling it right here, right now.
And then David Arquette comes out and pins Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, and Vince Russo's actually writing the show behind the scenes.
Like he's been doing for years.
According to him, yes.
I'm going to go Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. After that, Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus steel cage match.
It's going to be a good one, I think.
I say Luchasaurus and Christian Cage is actually healed and his arm is fine and he gets involved somehow.
That's a good idea. I'm going with Jungle Boy.
Booker. I think we need a Booker Andy shirt.
Yeah, we do now. But yeah, Jungle Boy, because he gets through and then he'll face Christian at the next one.
Okay. How about you, Tim?
Gosh, this is another one where I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna go Jungle Boy because he needs a win. I feel like he's been getting screwed a lot.
The last pay-per-view, he got fucking choke slammed onto the metal grate.
Yeah, he needs like a good moment, you know.
Yeah.
All right, Saraya versus Britt Baker. Saraya doesn't win. I don't.
Yeah, Saraya needs to win.
If Saraya doesn't win, that means that Britt Baker will literally never lose the belt ever.
She's not even the champion.
But just like she never loses, like ever. Like anytime someone makes a big debut, she always wins.
Yeah.
World Eliminator Tournament Final. Don't even know who's going to be in it. Don't even know who's in the tournament. But
just take a guess.
Ethan Page.
Ethan Page. I don't know. Bandito.
Yeah, Bandito beat Roosh, didn't he?
Yeah.
So Bandito's on it too.
I'm going wild card Diamond Dallas. He's just going to show up randomly, start doing diamond cutters. Yeah, he's just going to do diamond cutters to everybody.
Tim's just booking a WCW show right now.
I mean, that's what it is, so you might as well lean into it.
Wild stuff. Jericho's singing on The Masked Singer in a dragon costume and a wedding gown.
The worst Masked Singer ever, I think.
I heard. I was like, "Oh, that's him."
Even when he definitely did it on purpose. He was like, "Come on!" I was like, "How can anybody that's like not know it's this guy?"
Well, there's like a video that each singer does beforehand where they're in costume, and it's like an edited video, but he gives you hints as to like who he is and what he does, like kind of thing. He's like, I'm involved in the most destructive storylines and like things like that. He's like,
you don't need any more hints other than his voice.
Well, his voice is modified. Oh, well, his talking voice, but yeah, his singing voice.
I mean, he's like singing, and you're like, okay.
One of the judges was like, "It's a guy." Oh, I guess because of the costume, but
the one judge was like, "It's a rock singer." I'm like, "Oh,
we got ourselves a rock singer." Yeah, I saw that. I was like, God.
Next match, Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose TBS Championship. If Nyla Rose wins this, no.
Yeah.
Her holding the title before did nothing for me.
Yeah, it was like a weird storyline to start with, but yeah, it's Jade Cargill until she faces someone who's actually going to have a good storyline with her.
Yeah, and she's been like hoarding the championship. She like stole it. She's been holding on to it. I'm going Jade Cargill. Tim, Jeremy.
Jade Cargill.
Definitely Jane Cargill.
Jane Cargill.
Jane Cargill.
Well, speaking of Jericho, we have a fatal four-way for the ROH World Title. Chris Jericho versus Claudio Castagnoli versus Sammy Guevara versus Bryan Danielson. RH World Title.
I still think it's going to be Jericho.
I'm going Danielson.
Ooh.
Put a belt on the man.
All right, Booker Andy.
Booker Andy shirt, and the back's going to say, "Give me the pen, brother."
Who you got?
Yeah. I guess Danielson.
Jericho, Danielson, Sammy, or Claudio?
Yeah, I'm going Danielson.
The Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory for AEW Tag Team Championships. I say the Acclaimed because Swerve, at least afterwards, turns on Keith Lee.
Yeah,
not because.
The Acclaimed because it's going to set up the Acclaimed versus FTR.
Yes, which they've been teasing. So if you pay attention to what's on TV, you'll see that's where they're going. Tim?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. The whole Swerve Keith Lee thing's definitely coming to an end. They've already planted those seeds. They're breaking up any day now. So we'll see what happens. I think whatever's going to happen at the pay-per-view is going to be the end of their team.
Yeah, I think because the way they've been doing it, Swerve has been doing some shiesty shit, I would say.
I don't know if you can say that.
Don't say another word. They have to bleep.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to say that.
Really?
Jeremy, edit that out.
You can say that. That's fine. That's fine. You can say that.
Let me try it again. I didn't know that was a no word.
I'm gonna keep this in now.
Oh my god. Swerve's been winning by cheating lately.
There you go.
And Keith Lee is not about it. Anyway.
Don't worry, Andy. I don't think you'll get canceled. It's okay. You didn't know.
Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter for the interim women's title. If Britt Baker wins and Jamie Hayter wins, I see Britt Baker.
Britt Baker is not going to win.
Well, if Jamie Hayter wins, I see Britt Baker getting jealous of Jamie Hayter.
Yeah. I want Jamie Hayter to actually win, though, because I feel like she needs something, and she's also deserved it. So.
Guys, isn't it crazy if you're watching Raw right now? Shelton Benjamin's 47.
Yeah, he does not look like it.
Or wrestle like it. He's as old as Rey Mysterio. That's how old Rey Mysterio is.
You know what they say. If you stay in shape, you're going to look great when you're older.
God.
So, that's good for him.
I thought you were going to say
I was going to say, you're making more work for me right now.
You know what they say, if you stay in shape, you're going to look great later.
He's going to lose Dominic Mysterio.
All right, Sam, Tony Storm or Jamie Hayter?
I'm sorry. I'm going Tony Storm.
Tim over here being shiesty.
Hey, no, whoa.
Wrap it up. Our main event. It's Jon Moxley versus MJF. If MJF doesn't win,
yeah, MJF has to win.
Fans are going to riot. Jon Moxley can go take his 6-week vacation he wanted to before the.
In a way, I feel bad for Moxley because how many times has he come back to steady AEW?
Dude, I mean, he's a soldier. You know, he's. And
then he drops it to the next person.
Yeah, he stepped up just to drop it down to the next person, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, MJF.
If MJF doesn't win, I'm going to explode. I'm going to combust.
And that wraps up the show, guys.
On that note.
Tim, take us out.
Well, on that note, if you really want to explode, what you want to do is watch the 1992 Royal Rumble. That will make you feel very happy. No, it's a great show. The reason why I picked this one is because, well, I won't tell you who wins, but the 1992 Royal Rumble is special because almost literally any legendary wrestler that you can think of from Hulk Hogan to Shawn Michaels, everybody, like literally everybody is in this match. Ric Flair's in it. So it's a cool match to watch. Bret Hart's in it. So it's definitely it's worth the watch just to see all these cool characters coming together in one big show. So I hope you all enjoy that. It's fun. It's colorful. It's very retro wrestling. And I think that's going to close us out for episode 60. Yeah, this is a little bit of a shorter one, but we appreciate you all joining us so much. Thank you all for being great fans, great wrestling fans. Bye-bye, everybody, and we'll talk to you all next week.